For his part in leading Warner Bros. Through their industry-altering $110 billion sale to Paramount, Warner Bros. CEO David Zaslav is set to receive compensation of up to $887 million. Yes, you heard me right, $887 million. For a little reference, in the past 5 years, Warner Bros. Is down over 64%, and as part of this Warner Bros. And Paramount deal, it's expected that there will be thousands of layoffs.
Hide the money, y'all! There's poor people around!
Before we dive into the specifics, thank you for watching Peak Productions, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on all things business, finance, and technology. Towards the end of February, Warner Bros. Discovery agreed to be acquired by Paramount for $110 billion. This came after a month-long bidding war for Warner Bros. That eventually saw Netflix walk away from their original offer to buy Warner Bros. After Paramount offered more than Netflix was willing to offer. The Warner Bros. board says that the deal is expected to close in the third quarter of 2026. For his part in leading his company through the high-stakes bidding war, David Zaslav is set to potentially receive an unfathomable amount of money, as long as the acquisition actually goes through. After all, the deal still has to go through regulatory approval, so in theory, it could still get shot down by the DOJ. Zaslav's potential compensation is as follows: $517.2 million in Paramount equity, $34.2 million in cash. Now, these two awards make up what has been commonly referred to as a golden parachute. Like the name suggests, a golden parachute refers to staggering amounts of compensation that executives receive after they lead their company through any type of acquisition or sale. Golden parachutes have become increasingly common over the past few decades, as executives have realized that they can lead their company through a massive acquisition or sale and get paid absurd amounts of money for it. Even if the deal is detrimental to the company and its employees, the executives don't care because they have a golden parachute. Now, in an effort to combat this golden parachute phenomenon, Congress in the 1980s created a tax that was aimed to limit the size of these golden parachutes. This tax is triggered when an executive's payout is more than 3 times their typical base salary and annual bonus, and can be quite hefty. However, this tax has actually had an adverse effect, because companies simply began just covering this tax for their executives whenever the tax was triggered. So, as part of Zaslav's compensation, he will also receive $335.4 million in what the company has called tax reimbursements. Now, maybe you're thinking, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Well, you haven't yet heard Warner Bros. Justification for paying this tax for Zaslav. Warner Bros. board states that Mr. Zaslav would be at a substantial disadvantage if he had to pay this substantial tax related to his golden parachute. Yes, I agree. Poor David Zaslav for having to pay this tax after he's set to receive well over $500 million in compensation. I don't know how he will survive. So yeah, those 3 awards bring us to a total potential compensation for David Zaslav of $886.8 million, which will just round to $887 million. I use this $887 million figure in the thumbnail and throughout the video because that's the number that all of the headlines use regarding the story. My hope was that you, the viewer, would see the thumbnail and be like, oh yeah, I saw one of those headlines, let me watch this video to see what happened. In reality though, there are actually 2 asterisks with this $887 million compensation figure. One, Zaslav would additionally receive $115.8 million in stock options, meaning he would have the ability to purchase an additional $115.8 million in Paramount shares, almost certainly at a discount if he so chooses to. Additionally, the $335.4 million golden parachute tax reimbursement is based on tax code rules that are expected to cause it to significantly decline with the passage of time. This tax reimbursement will fall to $0 if the acquisition is pushed back into 2027. So, let's assume that the deal closes on time in the third quarter of 2026, and that Zaslav chooses to purchase an additional $115.8 million in stock. That would bring the total compensation to $1.002 billion. Over $1 billion for completing the sale of his company that will almost certainly lead to mass layoffs for the lower level employees. Absolutely mind-boggling. Let me know what you think of the whole situation, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on all things business, finance, and technology.